Why it was brought forward, because we needed it, because we had no protections for salary continuation when people were asked to stay home. And what it does is really three things. It amends the Family Leave Act law from unpaid to paid for 10 out of the 12 weeks. It changes the qualifying requirements from having worked a year and 1,250 hours to only 30 days. And it provides payment with limitations to workers who are taking time off to care for themselves or for a dependent child if the child is either ill or their school or their place of care is closed down. Paid sick leave part applies for 14 days. If you are quarantined or isolated or your child's school is closed down, once the 14 days are over, you go into FMLA. The first 2 weeks are not paid, but you can substitute those 2 weeks if you have paid time off.
80 hours of sick leave for full-time employees, and then a pro rata number of hours for part-time employees.
It provides its tax relief. If you are paying people FMLA, which you are responsible for that payroll, then you would be able to take a tax credit on your payroll taxes to mitigate some of the expense that paying this out will do.
There are 5 qualifications. Employees subject to a federal, state, or local quarantine isolation order. On that basis, they can get paid sick leave. Secondly, the employer is experiencing symptoms of coronavirus and seeking a medical diagnosis. The employee is caring for an individual who is quarantined or self-isolating. That's because of corona and not because of some other disease. These laws are specific to coronavirus. The employee is caring for a child whose school or place of care has been closed. Employees experiencing substantially similar condition, physical ailments specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. They can get paid from the first day they leave work. Unlike the FMLA, the first 10 days are unpaid. Diarize the information they receive each day and the actions that they're taking. Keep them limited to coronavirus issues and legitimate business decisions being made in response to those issues. These apply to employees, not to independent contractors.
It would apply to an independent contractor is if that independent contractor, when they formed their LLC, got workers' compensation insurance, or if they would have gotten paid family leave insurance. Paid family leave will entitle you to some pay, especially in New York, but it is an individual policy that you must get from an insurance carrier.
Something we haven't talked about are the exceptions for employers with less than 50 employees. The law splits them into 2 groups. Employers with less than 50 down to 26 employees, and then employers with 25 or less employees. Employers with 25 or less employees can actually get out from having to pay this due to hardship.
We're still waiting for directions on how to file for those exceptions from the Department of Labor because they need to approve that you're one of the hardships.
It doesn't cover employers with more than 500 employees.